All right. That's a cool intro that I had to work on and finally get in there because I got a big star and a big comedian like Jenn Lederer here. And of course, I'm trying to get, more and more people to see. So we have a bit of diversity. Our second female guest, I had the lady from the Taste of the NFL, but she didn't bring me any food. So I don't know if you brought me any whoopee cushions or anything fun to deal with.
I mean, women are supposed to bring food, right? Isn't that our role?
Yes. So get back in the kitchen because I had the Food Network people here earlier because, yes.
I'm failing you already.
Well, we're just going to laugh and make fun of things. And Jenn Lederer is a comedian based in New York.
Yep.
And she's an up-and-coming star if you don't look at her and see it like that just by seeing her magnanimous face on the screen right here. But what brings you to Radio Row? What you got going on down here?
I just love to talk about myself. I heard that there were microphones available. I heard people are asking questions, and I said, get me in that room. So one of my girlfriends did exactly that because I am up and coming and I'm New York City's best kept secret, if you ask my mom, and she's always right. So I'm just here promoting my work and letting people know I exist.
And Jenn, I've seen you around all week. A great wardrobe today. Is that hot?
It's not. It's actually pretty light.
Okay.
Yeah,
yesterday she had on like this Bjork outfit with, was that meat? Pieces of meat that was all over, or what was that thing? Okay. Yeah. So, where did you decide you wanted to be a comedian? I mean, it's a really tough thing, especially for a woman in this day and age.
Sure. It was one of those things that it was the one thing that I swore I would never do. I was like, I will do any type of art form except that, which is how I should have known it was definitely coming my way. But I was a motivational speaker. And I realized that the world of wellness and the world of motivational speaking could use a lot of comedy, could use a lot of honesty, and I just was getting a lot of feedback that the parts of my motivational speaking that was actually landing for people were the funny parts. So I just said, well, what if I just stop trying to motivate people all the time and just be honest with who I am and tell stories and, stop trying to teach and just be with people. And I think that that's a lot more effective in a lot of ways.
Now, it's got to be a challenge because everything is so politically correct, and what used to be funny and acceptable suddenly isn't when we worry about genders and upsetting different races and things like that. So have you had to evolve, or had you had to change, or can you take liberties being a woman that a man can't? Like, I wonder how that process is going now as a comedian.
Yeah, personally for me, I don't feel like the restrictions have changed how I approach writing, how I approach comedy. I think it's always true that if you say something, you have to be ready to back it up and you have to be ready for whatever consequences come. Whether you agree with what the consequences are or not, the truth is we're all a bunch of animals out here making noises. And the animals might react in a way that you didn't think that they were going to based on a sound that you made. Like, it's really it comes down to that. But for me, I write what I know. And so if I'm saying something, it's pretty much always a personal point of view. So I'm not worried about that offending someone. And if it does, I'd love to have a conversation with them about it. I think that's actually a huge benefit of comedy because when you're laughing, you can sit in discomfort a little longer. You can actually maybe have that conversation with someone that has an opposite point of view because you're laughing and your walls are down. So I try and utilize it to have the uncomfortable conversations without purposefully trying to poke at you, but just be honest with what I'm experiencing.
Because in this day and age, you're not allowed to poke at me either, right?
Listen, I'm going to poke at you.
Have they removed that?
You specifically. There's no food, only poking.
Hey, I always thought that was creepy on Facebook anyway. Why did you need to poke me, right? Like, what is that a metaphor for?
Of all the stupid designs that company has done.
Don't get me started. So who are your influences, especially, do you look to a female comedian or does it matter? You're just funny as funny and you want to take a little piece of this or piece of that, or how does that work in that process?
Yeah, well, I do agree that funny is funny. And actually one of my biggest influences is Clarence Avant. Do you know him? He's in the music industry on the producing side of things, and he was a connector. So when I look at my kind of career trajectory as a comedian, I am also a producer. So when I'm in a room, I'm constantly looking at who can I connect, who can I help, how can I be of service in this industry that is very competitive. So from the business-minded side of things, Clarence Avant is a huge inspiration for me. And then Judy Gold, who is a comedian in New York City. I love her. And she just wrote a whole book about, being able to say whatever the hell you want to say. And a lot of Jessica Curson is another one in New York who recently had a special on Comedy Central. So a lot of the women I do watch, and I specifically watch their moves within the business and how they handle themselves and what they settle for and what they don't, and what they used to have to settle for and what I don't have to, because they've, paved the way.
When you see a comedian a couple years ago who, kind of got blackballed for a little bit for what he said and things he'd done to women and things like that, do they deserve a second chance? I know he just had another special. I didn't watch it. I'm not going to support it. So what are we supposed to do now?
I know. Oh, the word deserve is a hard one for me. Deserve, here's the thing. I don't have to watch your material. And that's what I can control. What that guy goes on to do for the rest of his life, I can actively say, I unsubscribe from you. I'm never going to be in the audience supporting you. I'm never going to be on stage after you. Right? So as a comedian, I have to know my integrity and not get mad at the fact that somebody else exists. Like, I can't erase people from the earth. Unfortunately, Dave, I don't have those powers as of yet, because I do want to stay out of jail.
Well, I've experienced a little bit, and I'm not claiming to be a perfectionist or perfect at it, but I actually did stand up, in San Diego a few months ago. I call it sit down because I'm on my butt. And it was the most nerve-wracking thing I've ever done, because in your mind, you practice your jokes, and then you get out there and you're looking at the audience, and I'm thinking, what are they thinking about this legless dude? And so I came out and I'm like, yeah, hey ladies, yeah, you know what? That's right. My male part drags the ground when I walk. You guys know what I'm talking about. And that kind of broke the ice of that. So do you know immediately if you've got the audience, or do you know that this is going to be a tough room?
I can pretty much know before I even get on stage, what the room energy is like, where I am in the lineup based on how many drinks they've had up until that point, because the room shifts throughout the hour and a half as well. But there's a line between, do you shift your content as you go to kind of try and get the audience, or do you barrel down and commit to what it is you're doing and let it get awkward? And both things are right and both things are powerful, but you kind of have to know which one. Like, do I work with this audience, or are they wrong? Right? Some audiences are just like, y'all are tripping right now. Did you forget you came to a comedy club? I'm not going to stop telling these jokes. The joke is right. You are wrong.
I wanted to ask you, I'm going to be at the Lee Steinberg party Saturday. I know Adam Sandler's going to be there. Do you feel like people that know you're a comedian think you have to be funny every second of the day? They're going to meet you. Okay, make me laugh. Pretty girl, you're a funny comedian. Haha. Because it's your job.
Sure. And aren't we all wanting to do our jobs at all times, every day of every moment? Yeah, that is something that people think. And the truth is, comedians are some of the most overthinking, anxious, insecure people. And so when we're not on stage, if you come up to us, it's actually like, what are you going to say? Are you going to attack me? I'm not on all the time.
Yeah. Will Ferrell. I was around Will Ferrell with Kenny Mayne at ESPN for a brief time. And you see that. You're like, make me laugh. You're Will Ferrell. Do something funny. Do it. But it's just like, no, he's a dude. So you shouldn't have to be a police officer 24/7 or a fireman or whatever. So I get that. So what about you? What's the big thing you want to do? What's coming up in the works? I think you have a tour coming up. How can people watch you, find you, look at your videos, think if they'll judge if you're funny or not?
Yeah, you can judge, you can leave comments, you can let me know, and I'll decide if I care about your opinion. See how that works? So you can follow me at Jenn Lederer, and I'm JennLederer.com. I do have a tour coming up through Europe. I'm going to Prague and Amsterdam and Berlin and Barcelona. It's going to be a time, and I do daily videos. They're called daily doses, and I do little 30-second videos to make you laugh. Today, I'm up to 255 days in a row of videos. So I don't know why I'm so masochistic, but I did commit to a year of daily videos.
That's a lot.
So go support those.
And when you go to a foreign country, because I was just thinking, do you have to, because our humors are different. So how do you customize something that they're going to laugh at if they don't speak well or understanding that humor? How do you prepare for that?
Yeah. Again, back to your funny is funny. A lot of things do translate. And currently, the world finds Americans to be very interesting. So when an American gets on the stage, they automatically want to hear my point of view because it is wild in America compared to the way they are looking at what is happening over here. They want to know everything. It's like gossip hour. They're like, tell me everything. How did you make it out? What is happening over there? So they're very interested in my point of view that way. And then again, I'm talking about relationship stuff. I'm talking about women empowerment stuff and going against the grain. That's universal, experiences that people can relate to.
And personal experience. I'm sure you make fun of yourself. I make fun of myself all the time. It eases up, especially not having legs, when I say, hey, hire the handicap. They're fun to watch.
Hey.
And they look at me and they're like, you can't say that. And I'm like, why can't I say that? Right. And you can probably get away with saying some certain things and talking about women's bodily functions and relationships and things like that, that if I said it, no, you can't, you're not a woman. You can't say that. You're not entitled. So I'm wondering, how do you battle with juggling what's, as far as sensitive issues or topics for females, especially given this is about a Me Too and those kind of situations?
I mean, when I write a joke, obviously the main point is to make you laugh, like that at the end of the day. And what people maybe don't understand is a comedian is a lot like a lawyer in that our job is to find the best angle for this argument. That doesn't mean that the angle is my opinion all the time, right? So it's my job to say, okay, do I want to talk about this really heated women empowerment or, my body, my right type of thing? Number one, is it funny? That's first of all. Number two, why am I saying it? Am I saying it just to get a rise out of you, or is there something more behind it? If there's something more behind it, I'm for it. If it's just to get a rise, it's weak sauce. It's not that funny. You're not that funny. Do better.
All right. If I said, you got a minute, Jen, give me one of your best mini routines. Could you do something for our audience?
All right. So here's the thing. You cannot lose your virginity, Dave. Okay. No. First of all, you know exactly where you left that shit. That's why you're pretending you lost it.
Well, I'm still waiting to lose it. So what are you doing tonight?
Hey, stealing something.
I'm in trouble. Here comes security. No. All right. Where are you going to be next? That people can besides the tour, are you?
Yeah, I'm in New York City. So I'm doing clubs in New York City all the time when I'm not in Europe.
All right. Jenn Lederer, thank you for joining me. It's you've really brightened my day. You brought a little male female hormones to the thing to kind of balance out all this testosterone walking around in here.
There's a lot of testosterone.
There's a lot. There's a lot.
I handle it well though.
Okay, because again, you're going to be the victim of a lot of potential improprieties here when these football players start seeing you. So be careful if you need a bodyguard. I've got some people here that can run routes for you. And my God, best of success for you, because there are not enough female comedians that get that recognition. I know in the 40s, 50s, we had Lucille Ball, but you watch that stuff, it wasn't funny to me.
We're almost 100 years from that decade
that
as well.
stuff,
can we get?
Do you look at those old things like the Marx Brothers and Abbott and Costello and go, that's not funny? How did they laugh at that stuff?
I'm a fan of physical comedy, though.
Okay.
So I do look at that, and I have a dance background, so there's a lot in their choices in their bodies that I really appreciate because it's athletic. People don't realize how athletic that kind of thing is.
Well, then get big and let's get you on Dancing with the Stars.
Let's do it.
They won't put me on Dancing with the Stars. Some sort of
we
prejudicial
could do it
thing.
together. We could do it together.
All right. Jenn Lederer joining me here on Radio Row. Dave Stevens, the fun and laughs just keep coming. Don't forget to support us. We got all guys walking around, a couple more guests before we wrap up, and then we got all day Friday. And what are you doing here? You're just walking around talking to people and
hanging out, picking up microphones.
Did you shoot your thing today?
No, not yet.
Okay, get
You're
on
gonna
that.
be in it.
You got to be consecutive. So if you take a day off, it ruins it, right?
I'm not going to take a day off.
It's like playing Angry Birds and you forget to feed that bird that day and it dies and flies away.
It's not gonna happen.
So, all right, Jenn, thanks for joining us. Dave Stevens here on Radio Row. You're watching the most interesting, fun, unique people that you can find on Radio Row. You can get all that other stuff on ESPN and Fox, but we get the inside scoop on all of these people. So thank you, guys. We'll see you soon live at Radio Row at Super Bowl 56. Dave Stevens, one-man banding it here with my crew. We'll see you soon.